Kazra, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Ah, there you are.
You
I can't hear you. Oh, hang on.
I can't hear.
You have your sound up.
I can't hear you. Mm,
I can hear.
Can you hear?
I can hear you.
All right. I think he has his sound down. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Hang on. Let's see. Close this. Let's see. How you doing, Ross?
I'm doing okay.
Let's see. Is your sound in the chat? Write him a message.
He says it's all the way up, but he can't hear you.
Hmm.
Can you hear me? Kazra, can you hear me? He can't hear me either.
Oh, I see that. All right.
Maybe he just went off. He was probably gonna.
Okay. He's probably restart. Cool.
Okay.
How are you doing? How are the interviews?
I have a third round tomorrow with the travel company.
Awesome. It's going pretty well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Who is it with tomorrow?
It's with the CEO.
Excellent. Cool. How long is it? An hour?
It's an hour.
Okay. Good. And you like this company or?
Well, they're startup, which makes me kind of nervous. But
Yeah.
it is a travel industry, which I'm passionate about. So.
Okay. Well, I've worked for startups before, and you get your foot in the door, network, and get yourself going, and you meet other people. So
Right.
you always be looking.
Right.
All right. Can you hear us now, Kazra?
I can indeed. I can. Yes.
Real
I don't know
cool.
what was going on.
Yeah, because Ross is like, he could hear, and it's like I could hear you. All good.
Yeah, no, I just exited and came back. Did the trick.
Awesome. All right, guys. So today we are going to be talking about the skills mind map. So we'll be taking stuff that we've done and kind of mapping up graphically. So we'll take everything we've been doing to date. Hopefully you've got your personal executive summary kind of sketched out, and we'll start with that. If you guys have any questions about that or how that's coming along, let's start with that, and then we'll dive into the skills mind map. So any questions about when you're doing your personal executive summary, that one pager about who you are, the problems you solve, your approach to solving those problems, the roles that fit you, and your primary value proposition. Any challenges on that?
I thought so. I did it and read it over again.
Okay.
I think I was probably a little repetitive. Because what roles, what your skill set is, like how you can help. I feel like it's all the same thing. Like it's all the same material. So I felt a little repetitive in repeating, like, these are my skill sets. This is how I can help. Like, this is how this is why a hiring manager would hire me. Like all that stuff. I feel like it's like just the same stuff.
Okay, so the first paragraph should be the essence of who you are, right? This is like the type of person you are, right? The
Yeah.
second paragraph is I think it was the problem you solve, right? So like, what do you do that's kind of unique and different, and like what's your value, right? And then the approach is like, okay, this is the approach I take to solving problems. So that should be like getting into the detail of actually how do you solve the problems. And the roles that fit are ones that somebody could use a person like you. And then your primary value proposition is just a quick one-liner. So the other ones are just like, you're getting into the details. And it's like, if you were to pitch somebody in an elevator, this is what you would say.
Okay. The value proposition is one-liner. Okay, mine is like 2 or 3. But no, as a repetitive. So I did exactly what you said. The first paragraph is, I think we worked on it last week when it was just you, Michael, and Michael and I. We worked on that. So I just put that in. When I say repetitive, I think just the skill set and what I can bring is the repetitive part, because I did like what role fits me and like how I can problem solve. And I went into detail because I think we did an exercise with you and it was just me, you, and Andrew. We did an exercise on like a challenge and how you solved it. So I just basically put that in there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, repetitive isn't just like skills. I feel like or my keywords, I feel like I put those a couple
All right.
times.
Send it to me, and I'll take a look at it, give you some feedback. It's
Okay.
let me take a look. Cool.
Sounds good.
Ross, how about you? Any questions, challenges, concerns about the personal executive summary? If you get a chance to look at it.
I haven't started it yet.
Okay, no worries. All right, so today we are going to jump into the skills mind map, and we'll do some sketching out here on the call. So let me get that up in here, and I'll share it with you. Give me 1 second. Go. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. All right, so tell me when you can see the screen.
Visible.
Okay, great. All right, so let me just take you through what this is. It's a visual presentation of all your skills and abilities. So you've been working on stuff, for the last few weeks about your skills and so forth. So you'll be able to pull this in today, right? And the why it's important is because it aligns to the way the human mind thinks. We usually put stuff on a paper and we read, top down, left to right. And this is kind of like visually, your mind takes it in faster, right? So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me just admit, I think Andrew's coming in. Give me a second. There he is. Andrew, can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, just a quick question, if I may, before we get into this. For the executive, the one pager, is that just for us, or are we actually going to put that in use?
Nope, that's just for you. It's going to be the foundation for all the other things that we're creating from here on. So we'll start today with the skills mind map. We'll get into the networking brief, the 4-tier branding statement, the professional dossier. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to use it for, but it's going to kind of be like the foundation for all those things. And that's why, if it's repetitive or, you say stuff that's kind of vulnerable and stuff, that's fine because nobody's going to see that. It's just for feeding these other initiatives.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. So Andrew, we are just talking about skills mind map. I'll just go back to the slide real fast. What it is a visual presentation of all your skills and abilities. And the importance is that it aligns to the human way of pattern of thinking. It's visual, for visual learners, and people take things in just pictorial. They say picture paints 1,000 words. Well, this is a picture with words in it. So it's super interesting. It shows central ideas about who you are and your competencies, and then the related sub ideas of related sub skills that you have. It's a very simply structured visual graphical presentation of your skills. It's impactful, it's impressive, one pager, and it really conveys your value proposition very quickly to other people, and allows them to pick out what they want to talk about. It just kind of gives them a great picture of everything you can do. So I'm going to move into the samples of work. These are all just creative efforts that people have done. I'll give you a tool to do this yourself, and you can do it any way you like. So this is the first one. It kind of shows you in the center, and then the blues are all the main competencies this person has, and then you see the greens are the sub competencies, and then the reds are even broken down even further. Now, what you notice in this is this person seems to have a lot of skill and ability, right? And when you start writing this down, even if you don't feel like you have a lot, it looks like a lot. And let's say I'm interested in your marketing abilities. I'm gonna, as a hiring manager, network person, or anything else, I'm gonna go right to that marketing line on the left, and I'm gonna look what you do there. And let's say I'm really interested in what you do promotion-wise. I'm gonna ask you about that, right? And so it allows me kind of like a menu at a restaurant to pick out what I want to talk about, and you get to meaningful conversations faster, whether it be with your network contacts or with your interviews and so forth. So it's a really a good way for enabling other people to talk about what they're interested in. So questions so far. I'm going to show you a couple more. I don't get hung up on the graphical part. Like sometimes it looks like an octopus. You don't have to make those lines thick. This person just decided to do that, right? There are multiple tools out there where you can actually add graphics in and do different stuff. This bells and whistles. This is a free version that I'll give you access to. And it's really easy to create one of these. So you can actually format it however you want with whatever font and colors and line sizes and everything else. You can make bubbles or whatever else. But again, it kind of shows me everything this person has to offer very quickly. There's another one, a little bit more simplistic. It only goes 2 levels deep. The other one went sometimes 3 levels deep. I wouldn't suggest doing anything more than 3 levels deep because it gets really busy on the page. So this person does P&L management, CRM, leadership. Actually went 3 levels deep there. Engineering, marketing, and there's different ways you can do it. Like some people have on the left side their key traits and ability, characteristics, and on the right side is like their skills and abilities. And you can do it any way you want. I've actually had people put in their education in here, everything else. It is a creative effort, so you get to choose how you're going to make it look. Here's another one. This person has strategy, operations, business acceleration, cross-industry experience. And again, it can be themes like cross-industry experience. It's not necessarily a specific skill. It's like, yeah, I have cross-industry. What do you mean by that? Well, I've worked with IT, healthcare, marketing, event planning. Oh, great. Tell me more about how you work with event planning, whatever else like that. So I'm interested on specifics of this, and it allows for kind of a thread to unwind the ball of yarn so that a person can follow down and a topic or a theme that's most interesting to them. So when to use it to educate your network contacts. In other words, you're going to demonstrate your skills and abilities quickly to somebody that may not have a job for you, but they're going to have ideas and opportunities and referrals based on what they see. It's like, oh, you know what? I heard somebody recently who needed this type of person, or I didn't know you did that. Tell me more. It's like it educates people that you're speaking to who will give you referrals, ideas, or opportunities. It's also great to help determine fit. So you're looking at a job description and they tell you what the job's all about. You look at yours and you're like, yeah, it matches like 80%. I should check this out. Or, this is only about 30% of really what I do and want to do. Not going to take it. So it gives you a way to quantitatively look at how well you match to a specific role. It also is super impressive to interviewers. I will tell you, most people go into interview with just themselves and their resumes. You come in with this as a standalone or part of a deck, which we'll talk about later on. It could be included in an interview presentation, which includes things like your ideation, a SWOT analysis, your first 30, 60, 90-day plan, and you have this. It's like, holy crap, this person really came prepared. They know all about themselves and what we need and how they're going to fit to the position. And if not, you just can slide this across the table to an interviewer and say, I just want to give you this as well, or send it in beforehand. And again, it's impressive because it's like, I see all of your skills right there rather than trying to sift through them in a resume. So it just kind of demonstrates your breadth and depth of skills. And again, it gets to conversations quicker about what they want to talk about. All right, so how are we going to create this? Step one, we're going to glean from your notes and the work we've done so far, get from your ideas from your defining professional expertise. One of the steps on that was to identify the skills you're using. So there you go, you have a whole list there. You go to the Gallup Strength Finder if you took it, the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs, and there's a whole bunch of words there. Like, yeah, I do that skill, I do that skill. So kind of cherry pick, so you don't have to think to yourself, like, what do I do? It's like, but the assessment tests tell you. Career Navigator test, the ONET, there's a whole bunch of tests that you can take. And if you don't want any more of this, happy to tell you more. But again, you want to just have a source and cherry pick. And then I sent you a couple of documents last night that, one of them is just literally a word list that you can pick from. And the other one is a quick self-assessment test that you can take and say, yeah, I'm really good at active listening or something else like that. So we can put that in. And then, what else have others noticed about you? What have people told you through your whole life that you're really good at doing? Think about that. And so that's the first step. And then we're going to create the mind map basically. And it is really just a hierarchy expressed as a diagram. So you could like say Roman number 1, business development. And what do I do under that? A, negotiations, acquisitions, revenue generation, new market development, and partnerships. And then under that, what do I do? You know, just a little bit more detail. Or you can just literally take a pencil and paper and start to graph out. Sometimes it's the easiest thing to do is put a circle and go business development. Okay, what do I do in business development? I do negotiation, acquisition, you know, new market development, and then say, well, within no negotiations, what do I do? Well, I do contracts, agreements, you know, and then again, if you want to go a level deeper, you could, but my suggestion is you don't want to get it too detailed because it'll be overwhelming to a person. So I'll keep it to about 3 levels. And then it's really, this is kind of the template, is like, here's the competence or ability, here's the skill, here's the further breakdown. Or like, again, you could just use pencil and paper and it will eventually look something like this. So if we took this one as a hierarchy, business development, negotiation, acquisition, it actually looks like this graphically represented, right? So there is a tool that I promised you. I'll send this to you. You can put this, copy this into your browser right now. It's sourceforge.net/projects/FreeMind. It is a free download. You can start creating in this right away. It's really intuitive. It's not like you need a lot of training on this. It's like, just like create a node, create a sub node and move it here and stuff like that. So you can use that, but we're not going to start with this today. I can show you a little bit later if you want to take a quick walk through that. But today what we're going to do is start graphing out some of your skills, abilities, and we'll start by just like creating a list. And then we'll come back and start to talk about what a sub list would look like. So questions about the process, because we're going to start doing this today.
Not really.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. So what I want you guys to do is let's take 5 minutes and think about, if you were going to say, let's try 8 main things that you would like somebody to know about you, like your key skills or competencies or qualifications. What would those be? And stuff that you want to use, by the way. You can be really good at numbers, for example, Andrew, you know, and not want to do that, right? So don't write that down, because then people go, oh, you really work well with numbers in Excel and pivot tables and everything else. Great, let's talk about that, because I need somebody. You're like, oh crap, I really don't want to do that. So only do the stuff that like you'd be really happy using and telling people about. So I'll give you a few minutes now, and let's write out the 8 main things that you would like to get across as your main level ones.
Would it be possible to go back to the slides of the examples?
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't know, you want to see this one or the next one? Let's just use this one for now.
Sure.
And again, you know, there's some creative license in this. So I'll show you this one again. It's like this is business acceleration across industry experience. It's not specific to like a skill or a competency. It's like what they do. So you can do it any way you want. And again, go back to your notes. Like, it doesn't have to be a, oh my gosh, I got to think about this again. See what you can't glean from the assessment tests or work you've done. How you guys coming?
Good.
Yeah. Need another minute or two?
Yeah.
Keep going. Put another one up. Yeah. See, I was researching last night, like what's, this is my Christmas list, so don't worry about that. Where'd it go? Hang on. I am going to, can't find it now. Give me 1 second. Must not have it open. Give me a second. Let me find this. I want to share this with you. I gotta search my. I was just there looking at the top skills wanted for this next year. Here it is. Let me just show you this. I was doing this research last night. See if this is helpful at all. If you have any of these. 1 second. Okay. Share screen. Share. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. So I was just looking at some research last night. Let me put this still spinning here. Let me see if I can't make this all single space so you can see it on one page. Where it is, single space, line spacing, single, 0, 0. There we go. You can see more of it. These are supposedly the top skills for this year, next year, like what people really want out there: cloud computing, artificial intelligence, sales, leadership, analysis, translation, mobile app development, people management, video production, audio production, user interface design, search engine optimization, blockchain, industrial design, creativity, collaboration, adaptability, time management, persuasion, digital journalism, animation, critical thinking, written communication, oral communication, leadership, negotiation, managing ambiguity, technical skills, decision-making, emotional intelligence, problem solving, change management, project management, social media management, data analysis, conflict management, programming. So anyway, maybe you'll see something on here that like, oh yeah, again, it's easier to cherry pick and come from your own head sometimes. I'm gonna go back to one of the pictures here. See if it can help you out. Go to this one. We haven't looked at this one for a minute. All right, let me hear what you guys got for your top ones, and it doesn't have to be 8, just the ones you wrote down, and then let's break those down.
I could go.
Go for it.
I put time management, active listener, problem solver, creative, building relationships, leadership, multitasker, organized. Then I took 2 from your list. I put conflict management and negotiation.
Great. Cool. All right, Ross, what do you got?
For me, it was marketing, collaboration, training, organization development, project management, creativity, and I'm still working on it.
Keep going. Yeah, great. Andrew.
I ended up kind of putting down things that I do at my current job, not necessarily goals, but budgeting proposals, contracting, procurement, technical lead, regulations, logistics, management, leadership, technical writing, health and safety, critical thinking.
Now, wait a second. I remember you telling me that you didn't like tech.
Exactly. I know that's why I was saying this needs to be edited a little bit, because this is kind of more of the what I'm doing than the dream scenario.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, go to the skills you would love to be using. So let's take another minute to think about those. We kind of cross off the ones that you really don't want to use anymore and think about replacing those with something that you find interesting. And again, you go to the key skills identifier sheet that I sent you yesterday, or the skills assessment, and just pull stuff off of those things as well. All right, guys, so if you have yours locked in, the next step is like, okay, literally, I would suggest taking a piece of paper and just like writing, your first one out, like time management, just like put it as a bulk. So you're in the center.
Well, I'm kind of, now you mentioned that, I went to my email and I'm looking at what you sent last night, the key strength identification sheet.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking that out real quickly to see if I want to like swap any of them out. That,
Yeah, let's take a few more minutes to do that then, just to get those
because
core
these
ones.
are some really good ones that I did not think of.
Well, that's why I try to give you a checklist, and these aren't exhaustive either. If you want to go outside later and say, what are key skills, or the skills that whatever industry you want, the sports industry wants.
Yeah.
You probably come back with stuff like that.
See, like I totally miss communication, and like I feel like that one's key for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna swap that in. It could be more than 8, right? But like, or we
You can have as many as you want. Yeah, I just was trying to get you something like, so it's like 4 and 4 on each side.
Oh, got it.
But you don't have, you can have 10, you have 12.
We'll start with a lot and then we'll chop them down.
Exactly. Or you might, what you find as you do this, like, oh, this really can go into this, and roll it up or something like that, right? There's
branch them in together.
Yeah.
I like how you put the skills for the categories, so it just really makes it a lot easier.
It's a work in progress, it's like, it's definitely not exhaustive, but as I'm working with folks, I just kind of throw stuff in there.
Right.
Are you guys still seeing the my screen with the diagram?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because in the background, I'm going to try and bring up that FreeMind application so you can walk through it.
So you just wanted me to figure out a couple and then expand on them? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, if you're at that stage, you know, if you guys are ready to do the sub categories, sub skills, or whatever else, like just literally, my suggestion is take a piece of paper, just write the circles and start writing the sub circles, and then like the subs of those. Or you can write it in hierarchy, whichever way your mind works. Like if you Roman numeral 1, A, B, C, either way. I like drawing the picture. This is just easier.
Would you recommend like us Googling these terms and then figuring out like what goes underneath, like what can possibly go underneath? Because like I have to like think a lot about what would go under problem solving or like active listening. I feel like
Let's
Googling
try
it
one.
will
So
help out.
I'm gonna write up problem solving. Let's walk through this. This is a good one.
Sure.
Okay, so what kind of problems do you solve? Let me ask you some questions.
Well, mostly on the customer service, like on the customer end.
Yeah.
Or clientele.
Okay, so put in customer service under as a sub bubble. Now under that, like what kind of customer service problems do you like to solve? You know, what do you
I
know?
see. Yeah, I see.
So
Okay,
ask
I
yourself
see this.
questions. Yeah. Same thing with
Okay.
time management. So I'm gonna have time management bubble because that seems kind of generic, right? So, okay, what do you mean by that? So like what do you do for time management?
Plan, but then I also put planning as well. So I'll just, like you said, it'll go into one. Okay, so
Okay, and that could be project plan under that. It could be, you know, time scheduling. It could be, you know, the whole bunch of stuff.
I got it now. Yeah, just like you said, just ask
Yeah.
the question and then the answers will flow.
Exactly.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
One last thing. What's the name of this exercise? So I could just title it so I know where to go to find it.
This is skills mind map.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Let's walk through one of these. I'm gonna gonna share this part of my screen. Here. Okay, so this is the tool that you can download. It's pretty simplistic. So let's try some of these for you guys. So let's do a new one. And there you are. And you can just say, this is your name. And you can do the coloring and everything else over here. There's a bunch of emojis and everything you can add in. And so once I'm on that, I can either hit this button to create a new sub or child. We don't do that. Or I could go up here and just do insert new child node, right? And that'll insert it as well. So let's take one of yours. So let's say problem solving. There you have it, right? And now I'm on that one because it's gray. And I just add a sub of that. So now we say customer service. Right? And then, well, maybe I solve other problems too. Like, give me another problem you solve.
That's the only one I have at the moment. Because I went to other ones.
Let's just deep dive because, like, you know, let's see what other problems that you could possibly solve.
I mean, like on the creative end as well, when it comes to like marketing and advertising, like creativity.
Okay. Is that a
I don't
problem?
know. I don't. If like, let's say if like they're stuck on deciding something and you come with like an advice or like you help. Like, I don't know if they're stuck between 2 or 3 and then you're like, no, this one's the better one, or like from these two, I guess.
Let's do some like decision analysis.
Okay.
Right.
So would creative problem solving just be its own branch? It wouldn't go under problem solving?
Yeah, I think that would be too repetitive, right? So if you did problem solve, creative problem solve, if I were in an interview, I'd say, so what's the difference? And if you can explain that to me, great. But if you're like, well, they're kind of the same, then wrap it up, roll it up.
Right. Okay.
But stuff like, you know, conflict resolution, something like that. Spell that right. So in customer service, you could be, it's like something like education. You know, you could have, I don't know, you tell me what you do.
I'd rather we went to time management. That would have been a bit easier.
Okay, well, I wanted you to take the harder ones because I can help you with them.
That's true. Yeah, complaints.
Okay. What else would you do? It would be follow up, you know, script writing, you know, I don't know, customer satisfaction. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, like stuff that you might do for customer service.
Yeah, customer satisfaction would work.
Okay. Satisfaction. Sure.
Like follow-ups.
Let's say again.
Following up, follow-ups.
Yep. Cool. Good. All right. So what other problems do you solve? Could be like anything else that comes to mind?
Not at the moment. I would have to think about it. I know I'll come up with some after I'm thinking about it, but on the spot, not at the moment, no.
Okay, that's fine. So, you know, you put and then again, you can do all sorts of stuff in here. Like,
yeah,
I haven't been out here for a while, but there's things you can do to color and so forth. Edit node. Attributes. Let's see. I don't know what I just did. I guess I haven't used this for a while, so drag it around. That's cool. All right. What if this will change all of my? Okay, so it's just I don't know how to select everything, but you can select stuff and everything else. So anyway, that's kind of way the tool looks. I just wanted to share that with you. And it's pretty easy to put together once you have your diagram kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So, all right, Andrew, Ross, you guys want to work through one or two of these so we get the flow of it and the feel? Hang on.
Okay, I can go through one of them. Let's see here.
Yeah, just take one. Pick one that you feel like you might need help on.
Maybe training and organizational development.
All right, so let's do organizational development as the top one. All right, so and then training could be one of those. I would say a sub.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Training. Under the training, what do you do? Curriculum development, presentation. Like what is it that you do under training?
When I launched our credit card product and how to market it and sell it, and all the benefits associated with the credit card product.
Okay, so when you're setting up a training program, what are you actually doing? Like what skills are you using? Like if I were to task you, say I'm the CEO of this company and say, hey Ross, I want you to set up a training for me. What are the steps you're gonna take?
Well, I'm gonna assess what people are.
Okay,
To
assess.
understand. Yeah.
Assess audience or assess client or whatever else. Great, that's the sub
Right.
one. Yep.
Mhm.
Keep going.
I'm going to assess what they are. I'm also going to do an analysis of what I'm training on. So I'm going to develop the curriculum based on the learning objectives.
Okay, learning objectives. Okay, curriculum development. Great, this is great. Anything else? Then you actually do it, right? Teaching.
Right. Yeah, you're actually going to change. I'm actually going to create the content.
Content creation.
Yeah. Make sure the presentation is engaging.
Mm-hmm.
That I have the audience's attention.
Yep.
And then, of course, perform a post survey after the training to assess learning.
Post training assessment, or just right. Okay, great.
Yeah, and then I'm going to make adjustments as necessary to improve the training.
Great improvement. Love it. So now you got a whole bunch of stuff under training. Good. So you do that for each of those main ones, right? And
okay.
Then you do have some other ones underneath, like you could put it under post assessment, or is like that could be your next level down if you wanted another level and say improvements or revisions and improvement or something else like that.
Okay.
And there's no right way to do this. You can have it as a child of a child or just a sibling, right? So a sibling is on the same level, or you can have one lower. And sometimes it just depends how much you can fit on one page. Cool. Andrew, you want to work through one?
Sure. Just trying to figure out which one.
One you like, but that's
Yeah,
like
right.
so,
I swapped a couple out. I have one that's process management / logistics.
all right, so let's do either one of the other one. Is it What's the higher level? Is it logistics? And make one a sub of the other.
I would say process management is higher level.
All right, so let's say process management. I'm just writing this down so I can see the picture.
Yeah.
You got logistics. What else are you doing in process management?
That I just kind of got started on this one.
That's cool. Let's just work through it.
Planning.
Planning.
Uh,
You're doing any research, you're doing any interviews, are you doing, yeah, you tell me. Reconnaissance. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's got strong communication element.
Okay. It could be communication or communication planning.
Yeah.
Right. So take communication for a second. Is there a sub on that? Is it collaboration, development, cross-function?
Yeah. I mean, there's some of these just are so cross-sectional that it's, I don't really like, I have them in other places, but I mean, communication could be
and you could have communications as subs with other ones too, right? It's not.
That's kind of what I mean. I have like team building and like procurement and contracting on under another bubble, but that's part of the communication one here as well. So
okay. And again, you might have some repetition if it's specific to that node, right? You know, so what you're communicating in this area isn't what you'd be communicating in that area, but you know, you'd be using that skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know how to say implementation, like project implementation.
Okay. Yeah, make this iterative. So like, you know, just write stuff down, you come back, you say, well, this belongs there, or there's a better word for it. At the end, what I want to see is that you guys have kind of like really mapped out the main things that you want to have your value proposition be about.
Right, yeah.
So this should support your brand. And your brand is how you propose to solve business problems for whoever you're talking to. Why would they pay you, right? And it's like, sure, you got your resume and you got your interview, but this is just a really good way for somebody to like see it really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You just got to do a little stream of consciousness and then go back and edit.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, you know, you can use it as a hierarchy too, or again, if I'm looking at a picture, you know, like ugly handwriting here. Like I'm looking at, it's like, okay, how do I go further down this path to the point where I feel like, yeah, you got to the core of it.
Yeah.
So process management, logistics, what do you do in logistics? You know, what are you actually doing? Well, I'm planning, communicating, project implementing, or maybe it's all up on a level. And again, there's no right way to do this, like in the levels, and nobody's going to sit there and say, well, that doesn't make sense. What they're going to see is all of your words in some sort of formatted, structured way that they can take in quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the challenges in all of these things, and I'm feeling it right in this moment too, is trying to create like this 1-page document is a cool idea because it's something you, like you said, you can look at really quickly. But you can kind of quickly get an idea as I'm typing these up about like, oh, that's not, like I'm writing words down, but that's not me, or that's not quite what I'm trying to say,
Right.
you know.
But that's good. That's the whole idea, is like to, you know, it's, again, I call this like the Twitter of, you know, collateral, because it makes you really revenues a soul's wit. If you gotta put yourself in 120 words, 140 words, whatever it is, it's like you gotta be really concise.
For sure. Yeah, I like it.
And so use these to be really concise and you know, put a word in, even though you know it's not the right one, and maybe highlight and say, I'm gonna come back and I gotta revisit that because it's just not the right one. I just know what it is right now.
So something that I don't know if Kaz or Ross, you like ever experienced this, but as Mark, what is your opinion, or where do you what do you think? Like, I feel like a lot of I have a varied skill set, so it doesn't kind of all make me seem like a perfect candidate for this or that. It's kind of a, kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Is there
I struggle
a way
with
to
that.
think about trying to make those things kind of coalesce into sort of an appealing person for hiring managers? And
a couple of ideas there. Number one, curate it for the position. You
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
it doesn't make sense. I'm going for a film position and I'm talking about like, what I do for the environment kind of thing. It's like, yeah. Two, the other thing is take your creative license and, put more of your character traits in on one side, like work ethic and big picture thinker or some more of those kind of conceptual things. And then the hard
Yep.
skills kind of on the right side, the things that you kind of know how to do, your confidence.
Yeah.
That's another way you do it. And so I can show you another example. Let me see if I can pull that out quickly of a guy who did it that way. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find this. Oh, I know where I found it. Okay, give me just a moment. Computer's being very slow today. But again, there's no right way to do this, right? So it's like what the idea is. I want to give somebody the feeling.
Anyone who about US doesn't know American sports. Right.
That's funny. All right, hang on 1 second. So interview presentations. Here we go. There he is. All right, I'm going to reshare. Let's show you what this is. One way to do this. All right, so this guy, this is his interview presentation, by the way. So I told you, this is something that the mind map can become part of. Gotta wait for the computer to fill it in. It's like really struggling today. I don't know why. Give me a second. All right, so just quickly, it's not graphically pretty anything. It's his key qualifications and everything else. And then he gets to his mind map. This is gonna be a little bit hard to see. So let me see if I can't zoom in on this.
That's a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of stuff, yeah. But look what he's done here. He's got his education up here. He's got his personal qualities, his leadership, his auxiliaries. And then he's got, what he does with the other stuff, his IT, the business system, and he talks about all the different stuff he does here. He needed to get a lot across because the position he was going for needed a lot, right?
Yeah.
He's a vice president at a university. But again, somebody who's really not interested in financial management would go there, but let's say that, I want to know what you do about student support, then I'm going to look at that thing. And the cool thing about this is, as a viewer, I'm going to kind of just like tune out the stuff that's not really super interesting to me. I'm going to go to the stuff that like catches my attention. So the words are going to catch my attention. So, information tech business systems. Oh, about housing business systems. Tell me more about that. Because you're never going to, in an interview, you're never going to talk about every one of these data points, or in a networking meeting. You're going to talk about the stuff that person wants to drill down into. It is literally a menu. If you go to a restaurant, you might go to Fridays, and Fridays has a menu like this. It's like literally pages. Or you might go to a fine Italian restaurant that just has one page. And you have to decide what you want for yourself. So don't compare yourself to this and say, oh my gosh, this guy has so much and I don't. It's just that's what he needed to express for the positions he was going for. All right. So back to the question: how do you kind of make this more cohesive? Again, you can put some of your personal qualities in. You can curate it and have a business development versus marketing versus product management version, or we can just try and like put things in the words that would kind of make it more in alignment. I don't know if that helped. All right. Any other questions about this, guys?
Not on my end.
Ross? You good?
No questions for me. No questions. No, sorry.
Cool. All right. So if you want to give this a shot, you could use the tool. Again, it's going to be in the presentation that I sent you guys. So you can go to that and download that. Or you just sketch it out by hand, take a look what it looks like, and I can show you some other tools that you can use. And if you want to share it with me, get feedback, happy to take a look.
I have an interview tomorrow with the CEO. Should I develop this before my interview, or I don't know?
If you feel like it could be useful, I guarantee you probably other people haven't done something like this. It's going to be creative. It'll be like, wow, this is cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to shoot it past me this evening, take a look, get
Okay.
some feedback, happy to do that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool, man.
Thanks.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. I will send you the recording and the presentation for today. And then again, if you want to put this out there on the Google Drives or send an email it to me, I'm happy to take a look.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.